Hello and welcome to the 15-minute set review where I go through every single card in M20, evaluate it for limited in only 15 minutes. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you want to hear more about a card in detail, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Without further ado, let's get into it. Aerial Assault is going to be a little bit underwhelming. Undying Strength of Pride is going to be a bomb. Ancestral Blade is going to be quite good, just a better 2-mana 2/2. Angel Vitality is also going to be quite good. If you have any life gain in your deck at all, it's also just solid on its own. Angelic Gift is going to be too slow. Apostle Purifying Light is a sideboard card for black decks. Battalion Foot Soldier is not worth going for. Bishop of Wings is not going to be playable. Brought Back is not going to be playable and limited to Niche. Cavalier of Dawn is going to be a bomb rare. Dawning Angel is going to be solid. Daybreak Chaplain is going to be underwhelming. Devout Decree is going to be a sideboard card. Disenchant is going to be a sideboard card. Eternal Isolation is going to be a sideboard card. Fencing Gates is a solid 2-drop. Gauntless Light is unplayable. Daring Aegis is unplayable. God's Willing is going to be a solid combat trick. Griffin Protector is going to be a good card if you're aggressive. Griffin Sentinel, on the other hand, is not going to be good. Too understated. Hanged Executioner is going to be quite good. Herald of the Sun is going to be quite good. Inspired Charge, you're going to want to build around it, but it could have potential. I think Inspiring Captain is going to be a little bit underwhelming, but it could have a place in the right deck. Leyline Sanctity unplayable. Loxodon Life Changer quite powerful. Loyal Pegasus, if you're a heavy creature deck, could be quite good. Master Splicer is quite good. Moment of Heroism, if the format ends up fast, could be quite powerful, but other than that, not going to be very good. Moral Inquisitor is a good 2-drop. Pacifism is a very good removal spell. Planar Cleansing is going to be a very powerful card you can build your deck around. Raise the Alarm, quite good. Rule of Law, unplayable. Sephara, Sky's Blade, don't get fooled by its alternate cost. This card's just really good on its own. Soulmender, unplayable. Squad Captain is going to be quite good if you can build your deck around it. Starfield Mystic is going to be just a 2-man 2/2 in most decks, but that's okay, and sometimes Steadfast Sentry is going to be a solid card, and Yoked Ox is going to be unplayable. Now let's get on to blue. Aether Ghost is going to be a sideboard card. Agent of Treachery is going to be a good rare. Air Elemental is going to be a great card. Anticipate is going to be too slow. Antidote Scene is going to be great. Befuddle is going to be a card you'll sometimes play, but usually not great. Bone Dash is going to be good in the right deck, but usually not going to want it. Boreal Elemental is going to be okay. Bronze Throat Catcher is going to be a good card. Captivating Gyre is going to be okay as well in the right tempo type deck. Cavalier of Gears is going to be a bomb. Cerulean Drake is going to be okay against red decks. Cloudkin Seer is going to be a great card in any deck. Convolute is going to be a card you'll sometimes play, but usually not great. Drawn from Dreams is going to be a pretty good card as well if you're a control deck. Dungeon Guy is going to be excellent. Fairy Mist is going to be unplayable. Flood of Tears is going to be excellent. Fortress Crab going to be a card you'll play in a Flyers deck, but usually won't want it. Frailty Sword is going to be okay. Frosting is going to be great. Hardcover is going to be unplayable. Leyline Participation is going to be unplayable. Masterful Replication is going to be excellent. Metropolis Sprite is going to be solid. Moat Piranha is going to be solid in a Flyers deck. Mu Yanling is going to be solid and excellent if you can build it and defend it. Negate is going to be a sideboard card. Octoprophet is going to be a solid card. Portal Sanctuary is going to be unplayable card. Renowned Weaponsmith is going to be a card you're going to have to build around, but you can sometimes get it to work. Sage Rose Denizen is going to be a card that doesn't really come together. I don't think Mill's strategy. Skull of Ages is going to be a solid option if you can really get to the late game and be a solid control deck. Sleep Paralysis is going to be a solid removal spell. Spectre Sailor is going to be a solid late game engine. Tail's End is going to be unplayable. Unsummon is going to be excellent. Warden of Evil's Eye is going to be excellent. Winged Words is going to be excellent. Yarok's Wavecrasher is going to be a card you want to build around but has a lot of potential. And Zephyr's Charge is going to be unplayable. Agonizing Siphon is going to be a great removal spell. Audacious Thief seems like a great creature. Barony Vampire is mediocre at best, not great. Blade Brand is going to be a solid card. Blight Beetle is unplayable. Blood Burglar is going to be good for those life gain synergies. Blood for Bones seems good to me, but hard to tell. Bloodsoaked Ulcer is going to be good in a tokens deck. Bloodthirsty Aerialist is going to be great. Blood and Splinters is going to be pretty good. Boneclad Necromancer seems good to me. Cavalier of Night seems like a bomb. Disfigure seems excellent. Dread Presence seems like an insane bomb. Duress seems like a good sideboard card as usual. Embodiment Agony is very confusing but seems good to me. Epicure of Blood is just going to be mediocre. Fatherfleet Cutthroat is going to be mediocre but it's playable. Feral Abomination is a card you're not super happy to put in your deck. Gorging Vulture seems excellent to me. Gravedigger seems excellent as usual. Gruesome Scourge is going to be mediocre. Knight of Evil and Legion seems great. Legion's End seems okay. Leyline of the Void is unplayable and limited. Mind Rot is mostly a sideboard card. Murder is unbelievable, especially at common. Noxious Grasp is a great sideboard card. Rotting Regisaur seems like an all-in card but definitely one that could be worth building around. Sanitarium Skeleton is generally going to be too slow. Scheming Symmetry is not going to be very playable. Sorcerer of the Fang is going to be okay if you need a 2-drop, but not really generally that good. Soaring Pierce Bloodlord doesn't seem good to me, but I don't know how many vampires you'll have. Soul Salvage is going to be solid as usual. Thought Distortion is a sideboard card for control decks. Undead Servant is going to be good if you have enough self-mill and can get a couple copies, but generally not worth building around. Unholy Indenture is unplayable. Vampire of the Dying Moon seems great to me. Vengeful War Chief is going to be mediocre. Villa's Broker of Blood is a bit too expensive for limited, but if you have a ramp deck, it could be excellent. Indiaran's Fenlurker is an excellent card in limited. Active Treason is going to be great in Sacrifice decks, but not great otherwise. Cavalier Flame is going to be an excellent red card. Chandra Acolyte of Flame doesn't seem great to me, but Planeswalkers are generally good anyway. Chandra Awakened Inferno seems insane. Chandra Novice Pyromancer seems insane, especially for an uncommon. Chandra Democrat seems pretty good. Chandra's Outrage is a pretty good removal spell. Chandra Regulator doesn't seem great to me. Chandra Spitfire seems like a little bit too small for its size. You're not going to be triggering it very often. Dagger Sailor, now it's good in aggressive decks, not great in defensive decks. Destructive Digger is a pretty good card just overall. Dragon Maid, if you can get to 7 mana, is pretty good. Dragon Says Small Flames makes you want to get to 7 mana because it's just absolutely unbelievable. Definitely play the card. Ember Hauler seems great. Fire Elemental doesn't seem that good. It never really is. Flame Sweep is a great build around. Fry is a great sideboard card. Glinthorn Buccaneers gives me a great rare. Goblin Bird Grabber doesn't seem great to me, but in the right deck it could be okay. Goblin Ringleader is not going to be a card you generally get to play, but in the right deck it could be cool. Goblin Smuggler doesn't actually seems kind of good to me. Infuriate seems like a good combat trick. Keldon Raider is always solid. Lava King Brawler is a card you have to build around, but it has some potential. Leyline of Combustion is unplayable. Maniacal Rage is going to be unplayable. Marauding Raptor also seems unplayable. Just too much of a tough sell. Too much downside. Mask of Immolation seems like it's going to be better than people will think it is. I think it's actually going to be okay. Pack Mastiff is going to be a pretty good 2-drop. I like that card a lot. Rapacious Dragon is going to be a good card, especially if you want to splash. Reckless Air Strike is a great sideboard card. Reduced Ashes, you don't want too many copies, but it's generally pretty solid. Repeated Reverberation doesn't seem like a card I will ever want to build around. Just too tricky and too much needed to go right. Ripscale Predator is a solid card, but you don't want too many 6-drops. Scampering Scorcher seems excellent to me. Scorch Spitter seems unplayable. Shock seems always solid as usual. Tectonic, and actually good, yeah, pretty good card. Shock. Tectonic Rift is unplayable. Thunderkin Awakener, sometimes you're going to have synergies, and if you do, you'll want it, but generally you're not going to want this type of effect unless you have a ton of elementals. Uncaged Fury is always going to be a pretty solid card, just a lot of damage out of nowhere. And Unchained Berserker, if you're playing against a white deck, is insane. If you're an aggressive deck, you're always going to play it, but generally it not going to be in every single deck, but it's just going to be a pretty solid card overall. On to green. Barkhide Troll seems like an excellent card. Brightwood Tracker seems like a solid card for a ramp deck. Cavalier of Thorns is good, but not as good as the other Cavaliers. That doesn't mean it's not great, though. Centaur Courser seems like a solid card. Elvish Reclaimer doesn't seem that great to me. Feral Invocation is going to be good. Ferocious Pup is adorable, and it's also an okay card. Gargo's Vicious Watcher seems like a very good card, very bomb rare. Gift of Paradise seems like a solid card for ramp deck. Greenwood Sentinel, generally not the type of card you want to be playing. Growth Cycle seems like a pretty good card. Even gets better in multiple copies, so I like that card. Healer of Glitterglade seems pretty bad to me. Howling Giant seems like a good ramp payoff. Leafkin Druid seems like a great card, good ramp for on turn 2. Land of Abundance is not as bad as the other ley lines in Limited, but it actually isn't very good anyway. Still, you still shouldn't play it. Loaming Shaman seems okay. Mammoth Spider seems like it's going to be okay. It's going to be format dependent a lot of the time. Might of the Masses is generally a card I don't play. Natural End is a fine sideboard card. Netcaster Spiders gets to be a false solid playable. Nightpack Ambusher seems excellent. Overcome wasn't good the last time it came around. It's probably not going to be very good here. Overgrowth Elemental seems great in the right deck and solid otherwise. Plummet, it's going to be a fine sideboard card. Pulse of Morass is going to be a solid card. Rabbit Bite is going to be a great card. Season of Growth doesn't seem playable. Sedge Scorpion is going to be fine. Solid playable. Shared Summons seems like a too slow card. Shifting Seraph Types seems excellent to me. Silverback Shaman also seems excellent. Thicket Crasher seems like a solid card for the right deck, and just overall is a solid card. Thrashing Brontodon was great last time it came around. Veil of Summer is a solid sideboard card. I like the callback ref. Vivian Arcbow Ranger seems insane. Voracious Hydra seems insane. Forest Claw seems like a solid common ramp payoff. Wake Root, sorry. Elemental seems like a solid card, but generally 5 green is going to be too much to ask for. Wolfkin Bond seems like it's going to be good. It generally is. Wolf Rider Saddle seems good to me. Woodland Champion also seems great to me. On to the gold cards and colorless cards. Corp Knight's a good card in black, white, but not really splashable. Creeping Trailblazer is a good card in green, red, but not really splashable. Empyrean Eagle is a good card in blue, white, and in some fringe cases might be worth splashing in a red-blue deck, but usually not going to be splashable, but just a good card in blue, white. Ironroot Warlord is going to be a good card in green, white, but generally not worth splashing. Kalia Zenith Seeker, if you have a dragon or a demon to potentially find, is going to be worth splashing. Otherwise, it's not really worth it, but generally going to be good in the right deck. Kethis the Hidden Hand, not worth splashing. It's not playable and limited. Kyker Wind's Fury is going to be quite good and worth splashing. Lightning Stormkin is going to be good in blue-red, but not worth splashing. Molder of Land Reclamation is the type of card you might splash in your green-white deck if you have enough tokens and stuff, because it doesn't say non-token creature, but generally not a card you're going to be looking to splash in other archetypes. Ogre Siegebreaker is going to be a solid card in black-red, but not worth splashing. Omnath Locust of the Royals, definitely worth splashing in your elementals decks. Definitely going to be just kind of an insane card. Even on its own, it's just good. Grizz and Reef might potentially worth splashing if you have enough elementals in your red-green deck, but otherwise not worth splashing if you're not an elementals deck, but definitely seems like a solid card on its own. Skyguard Knight Vanguard's never going to be something you splash, but it is a good card. Tonebound Lynch is not really something you're looking to splash either, but is also a good card. Yorick the Desecrated, if you have enough triggers, you might splash it, but generally 5 mana for a 3/5 Deathless Lifelink isn't worth splashing on its own. Now on to the colorless cards. Anvil Right Raptor seems unplayable to me. Bag of Holding is a cool card. I really like the design, and it seems good to me as well. Claw's Hammer is just too expensive to equip, so I don't think it's playable. Diamond Knight seems flexible enough that it could be quite good in most decks. Diviner's Lockbox seems unplayable. Goalless Tireless Pilgrim is great. You're not really going to use the activated ability, but on its own, it's just a solid card. Grafdigger's Cage is unplayable and limited. Heart Piercer's Bow is going to be okay, but it really depends on how the matchup shapes up, so you'll side it in or side it out a lot of the time. Icon of Ancestry seems like a card you're not going to be playing in your deck most of the time, but I guess it'll work out occasionally. Manifold Key seems unplayable to me. Marauder's Axe is a great card for token decks, but generally not super great in other decks. Meteor Golem is a great card, just very flexible card, especially for ramp decks, good removal option. Mystic Forge doesn't seem playable to me in limited. Pattern Matcher actually seems great in limited. You generally get a couple, 2 or 3 ofs, and you can get some value. Prismite doesn't seem good to me. It wasn't great before. Retributive Wand doesn't seem good to me either. Salvage Ruin seems like it could be okay, but I'm not really super high on it. Scuttlemutt seems like it could be okay for a 5-color deck or a 3-color deck, but generally not a high priority. Steel Overseer is great just on its own, just building itself up, but if you have any other artifact creatures, it gets even better. Stone Golem's not super great. Vial of Dragonfire is going to be okay if you really need removal, but generally not going to be something you're going to be happy playing. On to the lands: Bloodfell Caves, Blossoming Sands, Dismal Backwater, Jungle Hollow, and Rugged Highlands, Scoured Barren, Swiftwater Cliffs. Whereas the other one, Thornwood Falls, Tranquil Cove, Windscarred Crag, are all similar. Gain lands, you're going to want to play them in your 2-color decks, prioritize them so you can have good mana. Good mana is really good in limited, and so those 10 lands are going to be high picks compared to like normal common. So like if you're picking between a gain land and a normal land, just pick a normal common that's very replaceable. Pick the land because it'll help your deck out a lot more. I don't think that colorless lands are very playable in limited. Cryptic Caves doesn't seem great because you don't want to put colorless lands in your deck. Field of the Dead, similar note, but what is it again? Oh, yeah, this card actually does seem worth playing if you have a lot of lands and you might get to late game. Lotus Field, not generally going to be worth playing. Just too tricky to get going. And the temples are all generally good, just a little bit better than the gain lands. Evolving Wilds is also excellent. So that is going to do it for the 15-minute set review. If you will have any questions about further cards you would like to see discussed in more detail, be sure to leave that in the comment section down below. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more M20 content.